lovely stitchy friends, hope you're all well. It's Rachel from Moonlight Stitches, and in today's little journey down memory lane, we're going to go through the village to the post box, so enjoy. So page 3, 1, 2, 3 on our little meander down memory lane is going to be along the lines of the post box in the village. Well, we've got 2 actually, but the one that I use mainly. I think it was because I thought about the king's head on the stamp, although I don't think I'm going to go that far, but that's where I'm going, along those lines. So I've pulled out a few bits of fabric as per usual. Now this is a man's piece of a man's shirt, and I thought that would be nice for the post box. I did have a bit of red sari silk, but that's a little bit too delicate for what I'm wanting to do on this. And then I thought I could go with just a bit of red off this, but when I came across this I thought, aha, I like the gold in it, you see, because it sort of alludes to that regal kind of splendour, doesn't it? And then this I could do for the top of it. So anyway, so I'm going to do a little post box, and at the bottom of our pillar boxes we have a black bit, so that was the best I could do for black. These, by the way, are fabric samples that someone's given me. I've given them a bit of a tea dye because usually they're quite bright. Then I thought I could do a little envelope with a letter in it, so I found out some words and a bit of linen to make the envelope. Maybe we'll come to that. Obviously I'm still wanting to use this but hey, right, let's just get rid of some threads. I'm going to chop. I don't like these pinked edges, but I do like do like them raggedy, but I don't like the pinked bit, so I'm just going to try and, if you've got a teasel brush you could use that and brush it, but I have got one but I cannot find it, so just give them a little bit of a pull. Just to make it look a little bit more. You might not want to do that, you can edge yours, blanket stitch it on, do whatever, but I like a bit of a frayed edge. I just think it gives a texture. Okay, I'm not going to bother with that because I'm going to cover it up. Probably want a bit more texture on that one. Like I say, a teasel brush is great for this, but I don't know where. I'm having to move around, and I'm moving from upstairs here to downstairs, and so I'm in a bit of a, lots of things are in a mess. I'm just going to get the lint roller just to get rid of some of the bits off there. That bit of rubbish. Just make sure you're in shot. Yeah. So yeah, I'm having a bit of a move around. So what did I do with that needle? Let's see here. I'm a bit upside down. Half of the stuff's downstairs, half of it's up here. But I'm sort of trying to make room for people to come to the workshops, so I don't have to cart all my stuff to the local church hall, which is beautiful by the way, but it just makes a little bit more sense. You can see where it's been stapled together there. It's got a bit of a, right, I'm going with that as the sky background. Just pop you back in there. I'm going to just pin it on.
I'm going to pin on, yes. Now then, no, I'm going with pillar box. I think I'm going to go off to one side because I might want to do a bit of let me just put my phone on silent because here we go again. Yeah, I picked up some stitching to do, and yeah, you guessed it, people want to be my friend. I could actually use the underside of this because the gold's printed on, but I like the gold, so I'm going with that. Do I want it a bit thinner? No, because I want to be able to get my actually I will do just go a little bit skinnier. Want to be able to get my letter in, don't I? Or my sort of idea for a letter. And they're sort of domed on top, so let's go with a bit of a I know in the US you have mail boxes at the end of your drive, but here in the UK we have these little system where you go to the local post box, pillar box or whatever. I'm just going to get rid of that. There's going to be some people saying, oh, don't use your best scissors for this, for cutting this with the gold on. And yes, there are arguments for that, but my argument is I live up the road from, or down the road from Ernest Wright, who will, I've been promised, happily sharpen them for me again. So I'm going to put a bit of a base on the bottom. Again, I'm going to get rid of that pink edge. You build up your picture as you wish. Let me just try and get this a bit flatter. Ought to have ironed it, but I'm allergic to the iron. Oh dear. So yeah, we're going around about that. Doesn't have to be too straight. I'm going to cut a bit off the bottom because it's a little bit too long, is that? There we go. And it's a sort of a wonky pillar box, post box, pillar box. These are actually pillar boxes. Post boxes are square. And I'm going to, I feel like I want to put a bit of something there, because we have like a white, it's a black opening, so we can use that, can't we? A dark opening. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should do a little slit. In fact, that's, you know what, I'm going to do that. Put a patch behind it, so then the little letter could go inside, couldn't it? Yes. I'll leave it on and try and give it a snip. There we go. Using the giantess scissors, let's get something smaller scissors. Okay. As you know, I never really have a plan. I sort of have a little plan in my head, but nothing sort of real concrete. I know there's people out there, I've got a friend, she's got sketchbooks full of ideas. I have them, but they never come to fruition because I can never be bothered. Right, so let's put you underneath. There we go. Oh yes, that's it. Took you. Might have snipped that bit off. Right, we'll just pop a pin in there. And now snip that bit away so it doesn't show up. Try not to cut my finger. Ooh, come on. Fabulous. Just get you tucked under there. Yay, I like that. Has that gone right up there? No. It's a gap. Right, we're across. Ooh, might have to stitch this down. So, right, post box done. I'm going to leave that gap and I'm going to try and get a little letter just to tuck in it. But oh, bear with me while I just do sniffles. Excuse me. It's because things are starting to come to light and people are cutting grass. I don't suffer from hay fever, but I do tend to be sort of at this time of year get the sniffles. Right, I'm going to go in with some thread. That, what happened to that? That was here. I'm going to use that, I think. I'm just going to do some stitches on here, some little cross stitches. Let's get rid of a few pairs of scissors. I gather scissors. I have to gather scissors up, so right, we might need, let's find a needle that's sharp. Yep. Again, this is silk thread from Paint Box Threads, variegated. It is beautiful. It feels so beautiful in the hand. I'm getting a bit of a few threads stuck onto things, so I'm just trying to, I'm just going to do some little cross stitches. You can do whatever stitch you like. When I get stitching in a stitching mood, my desk gets absolutely covered in stuff. So reason for moving downstairs is to sort of try and keep myself a little bit tidier. Whether that works or not, that's another thing. I was watching a lady on Instagram, and she'd been called out, shall we say, for having a tidy sewing room. And people were saying, you can't possibly be working in that room, it's too tidy. And I was just thinking to myself, why would you even say such things to people? I don't, you know, some people work in a really tidy environment. When we were at school, things had to stay tidy, you know, so children had to tidy up as they went along. So it is possible to work in a tidy environment. It's some people are very, very tidy people. I'm not one of them. Plus I've not got a huge amount of space. Anyway, that said, I am going to try and keep tidy. So we'll see how long that lasts. But like I say, I'm trying to sort of do my workshops from home. I will try and do my workshops from home, because I have got a lovely big garden as well, where on beautiful days we can stitch outside, where that kind of is a struggle in the church hall, because you've got passers-by, not very many passers-by admittedly, but you sort of got passers-by that want to kind of get involved. I have to say, this thread's beautiful to stitch with. It feels like you're not stitching with anything. There's no resistance. I'm a little bit cold. I might have to go and put a cardigan on, a sweater. I'll just I feel like I'm dithering. Again, British weather's lured us into a false sense of security. My granny used to say, "Ne'er shed a clout until May is out," which means don't start taking your clothes off and putting some dresses on, etc., and t-shirts on until the end of May, beginning of June. And she's probably right. Well, she's definitely right, because as I say, I've got a little thin top on, and I haven't put the heating on, and it's not very warm up here because the sun's not shining in this room. Don't get the sun until afternoon, late afternoon at that, and that's another reason for moving downstairs. I have a big bay window with a window seat, and it gets the sun first thing in the morning and warms up. The only thing, the only downside is that it looks out onto the road, so I'm going to have to, it looks out onto the front garden, then the road, so I'm thinking that I'm going to get some of that privacy screening for the window, just to keep us a little bit private, that's all. To be honest, lots of people in the village just are walking the dog, minding their own business. They're not one bit interested in what's going on at my house, I'm sure. You could go up and down with running stitch on this, but I did that on the other one, so I was thinking I'll change my stitch. Get rid of that bit of thread, just to give it some interest. Trying to get ahead with these little pages because I'm off to Ireland next week or the week after. Hello Gertrude. Here she is. She'll probably want to come and say hello. Yeah, so we're off to Ireland next week. It's actually the week after, thinking about it. Hello. So I want to sort of try and get ahead, so I'm not panicking thinking, oh, I've got to do that. because even though, hello you, hello, even though I am slightly ahead, it's all the editing and that kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, which Heather does. I'm going to sew your ear to the thing if you're not careful, Gertrude. So I don't want her to have too much work to do before we go. You know, I want it to get done. Right, you're going to have to move, Missy. Gertrude is very, shall we say, she's antisocial. She doesn't, I've unthreaded that. She doesn't very often come and say hello, but the moment I get chatting on here, she's wants to come and be involved. And I know I say this every video, but simply for those of you who are new. I've got lots of bits and it's all getting... Right, there we go. Let's get rid of some bits of fabric. Just be careful not to stitch myself up. And now I've got cat hair as well. Everything I have has got cat glitter, shall we call it, on it. Reggie doesn't shed because he's got a poodle in it, and I know some people who have a poodle cross doggies, their dogs shed. I'm just going to get rid of the cat hair. One little stroke, look, and it's covered. Yeah, their dogs shed. I've got a lady who I used to work with. She's got a doodle of some sort, and it's piles and piles of fur. But Reggie doesn't, thankfully. Doesn't shed at all. Do you know, I'm going to try and find something reddish to go with it. Now, it's unusual that I haven't got something red. Like a dark. That'll do. That'll do. A bit of... So when you're using stranded cotton, try not to cut too much of a length up, because you're going to get yourself into a complete knot. And I tap the end, damp my finger, tap the end so the strands separate, and I pull one out at a time, because that way you don't get twisted up. And I'm going to use 2 strands. This has got a funny twist on it. It's not DMC. This is just something out of a kit. I don't know what it is. Feels quite stiff. I think it's yeah, and then put them together. And a lot of the time, if I'm using a variegated thread, I'll swap ends, so you get more variation. That's just a little, put that in there, tip. So 2 strands for me is usually enough. unless like when I was making these and I wanted them to be really stand out. I'm just gonna go, let's stitch this down. Just gonna do a simple running stitch. Just makes life easier. You can go crazy and put any stitch on you like. I mean, on my slow stitched animals, I kind of use them as a sampler, and you can do lots and lots of other stitches. Usually sort of try a different stitch for every panel of the animal. Do you know what? I thought I had, oh, I haven't, I might couch down. Got some gold coloured. I'll do it when I've done this, I'll find it. So I'll do this, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to pause, go and get a sweatshirt on, a jumper on, and then I'll find my bit of gold thread that I can couch down on there. By the way, if you want to draw a line and run along, do your stitches in a straight line, that's fine by me. I'm just quite like I've got a bit of a wonky world going on, so I don't worry too much. But I know some of you like to be neat. Okay, right, I'm just going to do that. Just pop you in there. I'm just looking cute so far. I think I might have done a bit of a, oh, it doesn't matter, it will come down. Yep, it's cute so far. So I'm going to just pause you there, and I'll be back in a few moments when I've just put when I've got a jumper and found that bit of thread I want. So be back shortly. Okay, so that's me a bit warmer. Just pull my chair towards. Ooh, I found this thread, and I thought maybe that, or then I found that, maybe that. Don't know. I'll carry on with what I'm doing first and then come back to it. Oh. I'm gonna go stitch in that direction. Again, it's a choice that you make when you're stitching for me, as I go. I'm just thinking, what way have I been? Sometimes I might go the same way the whole way, depending on what I'm stitching or what effect I want to have. I'm just going to go around the outside of this I'm not going to stitch in the middle because I'm going to stitch, oops, around the letterbox opening. And that should be enough to keep it held down. It's not like it's something to get the pin out. Do you know, I've tried to get some more of these applique pins and there seems to be a world shortage on them. Don't know why. Probably somebody's some influencer somewhere said that they really like them. I don't know. It's not me, obviously. I'm not a big influencer, but I do like them. And if I can get some, I will be adding them to the shop on the website, because I found when I'm making little things like this, they come in really handy. And yeah, I just enjoy using them. Getting quite a thick, I've got quite a few layers going on, so I might need my thread, my needle puller. I may not, I might be just getting away with it. Ouch! Okay, get another bit of thread. I'm just going to go around the outside of the letterbox opening. This has got quite a strange twist on it, but this stranded cotton, which is unusual. That's the thing when you buy it, sort of vintagey kind of stuff, it throws up all kinds of threads. Now then, I'm going to do a herringbone stitch just because I want that. Ooh, do I? No, I don't, do I? Because I want to be able to get in there and pop the letter in. Maybe I'll do that after. Let's do that after. Good thought. Good thinking, Batman. Right, let's get something, get on there. Got another bit of that. Ooh, shall we use that one? Ooh. I hate having thread twisted around these card things because it creases it. But there we go. It's not my sort of. Let me find a needle that's not loaded up. I don't want to. Right. Sometimes I like to keep the threads in the needles that are in there already because I can come back to them at a later date, and it saves me threading up a needle again. So I have pincushions full of threaded needles of all kinds of colours. Right. Excuse me, someone's calling, so I will be back. Bear with me. Sorry about that. Oh, sometimes you just have to take a call. I do put my phone on silent, but I recognised the number and I needed to answer that. So, and then forgot myself because I was doing hands-free and started to sew again. So I'm going up and down, just along with some just ordinary straight stitch, running stitch again. I will say, guys, that running stitch is very effective in short lines. It's very similar. I'm doing a sort of Cantha inspired, if you like. I did notice at the Stitch Festival that Cantha is seeming to take over the world. I don't know whether it's because I've sort of only just, not that I've only just come across it, I think it's just that it's sort of becoming popular and you're looking out for it more. I can remember teaching the children at school running stitch and sort of going through all these different styles of stitch throughout the world, because obviously it's something that when we're doing textiles we try to bring in other countries' styles, etc. And I can remember struggling to find things online about it, but now as soon as you put it in, it's everywhere. You know, we'd have to go to the library and find books on it. So it's definitely having its moment for sure, and it is very beautiful. I'm really enjoying this silk thread, I have to say. Okay, I'm going to go down and it's beautiful. So there we go, Postbox done. So I'm going to do my little envelope next, and I think I'm going to use this bit of and I use this little bit of linen. I don't care if it's not quite the right size, it doesn't have to be in scale. Although I know there's a few out there that will be cringing at that. We'll chop that down a little bit, give it a bit more. A little bit of yeah. I know I'm leaving that bit of lace on. Just going to do a little bit more, and possibly do a little snip. Fold over. I wonder if I should do it a bit small. Oh no, this is where I get. And then I shall stitch up the sides with a whip stitch. I'm going to put that gold thing on there, but I'm just going to do this first. And I'll use this red. Just tuck you in. Can you remember the airmail envelopes? Blue, it was blue, very fine paper, and then it was embroidered with, the British ones anyway, were embroidered with, not embroidered, edged with red and blue and white stripes. I think that's the kind of thing I'm going for. My own version of. Across the top of there. I'm not stitching it down, I'm leaving a little gap. Because I'm going to put my letters in. I'm being a bit rough with this because it's only one layer of fabric and I've been stitching layers. Just go down there. Tiny little stitches. Cute. Just going to overstitch that so I can fasten it off. Just going to go in and hide it. In there and hide it. Because that is quite adorable. I'm not coming through that one, I am, look. There we go. That's it. Obviously need to do a bit of stitching along there as well. Do I? I think I do. Just gonna tiny running stitch. And come out there somewhere, just to hide that. And you know, I feel like I could put a little bead on there, or a button, just to, don't know, I'm going to have to think about that. So there's my little envelope. Ooh, cute. And maybe I should do some suggestion of a letter, perhaps. Let's have a look. I think, where was that? I feel like that could be my letter. You can't read it, but who cares? And that can go in there. Oops. just do that. There we are. And if I could write the address on, or I could stick a bit of an address on. Well, when I say stick, I mean stitch. Just words to gallantly. I don't know, that's quite cute. We can pop it in that way, or pop it in that way, or not do it at all. I might do a little, I think I might do a little bead, so we can stick it down, stitch it down. I'm going to leave that in, but I'm going to be a bit naughty and just stitch it in with a little bit of, where's that? I had some thread that was on there, just some machine thread. I'm going to just stitch it on. I come up through the back. You could glue this on with a bit of glue stick if you wanted. Go back in. Try and do a little knot just to stop it unravelling. I know I probably should have done this beforehand, but who likes to make life easy? Certainly not me. There we go. Taking that out. Take that out. Right, I feel like I need to have a little bit of a bead or something on there, which I will have lots of somewhere. Let's find a red one or a blue one. Should we go blue? Let's have a blue one. Let's find one that will go through that needle. That's always good. There. Not you, you. Let it go through, yeah. Right. So, put the lid on that before Gertrude comes and jumps on it. So we're going to put a bead just there. So I'm going to come up through the inside. As I say, could have done this all quite nicely without any fuss before I'd stitched it up, but that's, didn't think of that. This is where my thought processes go. I don't worry about having a plan. Where's that stick gone? There. Where's that little pokey stick gone? Just make sure I'm not stitching. I'm not. Just make sure I'm not stitching them both together. There we go. Done. That'll do. Just going to do a tiny little knot there. You won't see it, and I don't really mind. There'll be some people taking some deep breaths somewhere, I'm sure. Just put you back in there. And we can make a little loop, can't we? And I'll make a little loop with some thread. Do like a little buttonhole. Get rid of that. I'm now talking to myself, I know, but just make sure that that goes around. I have to say that I don't know any of my stitchy friends that don't admit to talking to themselves. Just try and make sure it's only a suggestion of a loop. There we go. So I just don't want to. So I've got a loop and I'm just going to put a little stitch in, stop it, just go backwards and forwards. Oops. You could make this out of paper, by the way. I'm just doing what I do best, faffing around. Here we go. Oop. Just fasten off. There we go. Lovely. Oh, lovely. Wonderful, wonderful. And put the letter inside. Poke it in. Pop the lid down. Which it hasn't, it was a bit too big a loop. Oh, not to worry. Maybe I could, no, I'm not worried. And pop you inside. That'll be cute. I might have to press that down a little bit, but I'm not worried. Not going to worry about that bit. Right, let's do some gold thread. Just going to find some thread that'll match it up. That'll do. Needle. I'm going to double it up. So couching down is literally just getting a piece of your thread, or I could have put some gold pearl on, pearl on it, but that was and coming up and back over it with a tiny stitch. So thicker threads, thicker pieces can be, you don't have to go through the fabric. It's also good on metallic threads, is couching, because metallic threads tend to disintegrate as they're going through fabrics. So, all good. Couching has its place. Lots and lots of things in slow stitching. And gold, a lot of gold work is couched down. I mean, if you're doing a pillar box, by the way, and you want to put more detail in, please feel free. That's entirely up to you. I think I might just do the little label where it has a plaque on with the times that the letters of the postbox emptied. In our village, it's twice weekly. So if you want a letter getting there more urgent, you need to go further out. Up onto the main road through. Just going to try and stitch that down a bit because it's got, I don't want it to fray. There we go. Cute. Oh. Just get my knot a bit tighter in. That's my view. Cute. I'm going to put my grass on, of course. I feel like that's a bit better. This has got like a red thread running through it. But I'm going to put some dandelions on, because there's always dandelions around the post box, isn't there? There's always a few weeds. So I'm going with a really bright orange, and I know it's not not quite the dandelion colour, but I don't care. I don't mind. Just going to come in here again, and I am literally going to do some French knots. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. I nearly did a cross stitch, but then I realised that I don't think it'll stand off. One, two, three. I feel like I have to put a French knot in nearly everything I do. French knots and bullion knots. Three. Ooh. I did go and find a bigger needle, a size 22 chenille. I do like a bit, because it just, especially when you're layering, and you've got a thicker thread, you need a bigger eye for your needle for your thread to get through the fabric. Ooh. Right, I think that'll do for those. I'm going to put some green on. Again, this olive green. This is SCHEEPJES 100% cotton, and it's about the thickness of probably a number 8 pearl cotton, but it's a lot cheaper than pearl cottons, and it is being loaded into the shop on the website as we speak. Apologies for the shameless plug for the shop. I know that the international shipping is quite expensive, and I apologise for that. There's nothing I can do about it. But if you live in the UK, we do free shipping, but yeah, I can't. There's not a lot I can do about the shipping, unfortunately. It's a I don't know. It just seems to have gone through the roof, which is a shame. But because I'm not a huge company, I can't take the hit on the shipping. I'm sure you'll understand. But I am trying to get more variations of things in the shop, so when people go to order things, it sort of makes it worthwhile ordering, because it is just a base rate. Once, you know, if you order something that's £5, it will be the base rate if you ordered something that was £100. So, right, okay. Do you know, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm just gonna get my thread in. I'm gonna stitch it down with this while I've got this on the needle. Just some tiny stitches. I know people call these stab stitches, or chicken stitch, I've heard it called, but it's like a little tiny seed stitch. I don't like to call it a stab stitch. But if you go in, you can, especially with the same colour, it makes it look a bit more like grass or parts of the whatever it is you're doing. And again, adds texture. Sari silk, I love these Sari silk ribbons. I always pick them up in at the shows if I can. It's just coming out for lunchtime here, and I think my stomach is rumbling. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry. Everybody's quiet today. Reggie's gone off with his daddy, who's my son. They've gone to do bits and bobs outside with the camper van. Gertrude is above me on her bed. snoozing, snoring. You probably can't hear her, but I can. Little murmuring of a snore. It's quite sweet. Right, I'm just going to snip that off and pull. Snip, pull. Just have a look where my fold is. Yeah, that's okay. Seem to have had a lot of interruptions on today's stitching, but that's fine. Yeah, it's got like a little red thread going through, running through it. This sorry silk has. Gives it some interest. Now then, what did I do with the... Oh, it's here. I might have to come back in and do something with that loop. Oh, I definitely will have to, because it's not going to close it. I won't do it on camera, otherwise we'll be here till Christmas. Yeah, I'll have a little... Anyway, I was going to put a little something on there to give the impression of a... Do you know what? I'm going to do that. Oh, sorry, I hope you can see what I'm doing. That's too big. There we go. Stitch you on, but I'm going to use a little bit of this darker thread and do some tiny stitches on it, and it'll look like words. And 5 o'clock is the collection time. I hope you don't think these videos are too long. You'll have to let me know if you do. But I just feel like sometimes we need to just sit and stop and do what we want to do. And I know a lot of people sort of say that they put me on in the background once they get stitching, and that's good. But I will say that to help the algorithm, it is good to sort of leave me on running in the background, because that helps my channel grow and pushes it out to more people, which I'm ever grateful for. And obviously the like, the thumbs up and the subscribing and comments also help immensely. So that's why I always sort of say, if you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, please do subscribe, because you don't want to be missing out on anything, surely. Oh, that's unusual, an ambulance. My daughter always laughs when I say, "Ooh, an ambulance," because she lives on a busy main road and it's constant. And I have in the village, obviously, it's like, "Oh, I wonder what's going off. I hope everybody's all right," or you know, that kind of thing. It's not a tiny village, by the way. I don't know every inhabitant of said village. It's not your quintessential thatched cottage kind of village, which would be lovely. I wish I did live in that kind of a place, but I don't. There we go. Look at that. That is so cute. And I'm just going to pop the letter, which is huge, I know. Just going to pop the letter in there, and I'm not going to pin it down. I might have to do a little to keep it with it. Do like a little thread just so we can open it and have a look. Don't know. We'll see. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'm not waffling on too long for you. As I say, I really appreciate it when you listen to or watch the whole thing through. It does help the algorithm, but obviously if you find me very, very boring, please fast forward. So happy stitching, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.